feel like I'm sleepless. I've tried and I've tried, but it's all for good reason. It passes with time.
This is what we call moping. He's moping because he knows what he's going to do today, and he's been trying to push me into going to do it early, even though we're not allowed to do it till 10 a.m. His memory is so good that he has literally been standing on my chest until now, when he finally gave up, staring at me, trying to make me get up so I could take him over to Pollyanna's house. That's all he cares about, is going to Pollyanna's house today, isn't it? Alright, let me get my shower and we'll go, okay? Daze with Jordan the Lion and maybe John Pollyanna begins now. Are you happy now? Goodbye, Pollyanna. Alright, Ja is dropped off and he's going to have a play day, so we are going to head off to Westwood and we're going to do actually a pretty sad vlog today. We're going to go visit the final resting place of a little girl who starred in all 3 Poltergeist movies and passed away at the age of 12 years old. Strawberry Shortcake has a message for us. We're headed to Pierce Brothers Westwood. That's the same cemetery where Marilyn Monroe and Dean Martin and Burt Lancaster, they're all buried there as well. So if you enter through the little hidden alleyway that most people miss and you're driving in, there's only one entrance in here, so you're either going to come from straight ahead or from the left here. But when you drive in to find Heather, she is right straight ahead right there. Over here you have people like Don Knotts. And then you follow it right over to here. And on the wall you see people like Jackie Collins right there. Right at the very bottom, beloved Carol Ann, Heather O'Rourke. I mean, she became a pop culture icon from her lines, "They're here," and "They're back." But she was actually a pretty accomplished little actress. She had 6 nominations for Young Actress Awards and actually won 1 of them. And she was discovered by Steven Spielberg. She was 5 years old, and it was in the MGM commissary. Her older sister was booked on a project called Pennies from Heaven, and Heather and her sister and her mother were eating in the commissary, and Steven Spielberg saw her and called her in for a screen test. Now, I've heard 2 different variations on this. One was that he liked her so much he signed her the next day for Poltergeist, but then I've also heard that he saw her and wasn't quite convinced, and that someone said, "No, you should really see her again. You should really see her again. There's something about her." And when he saw her again, he decided to make her scream over and over and over again until she cried. And that was when he decided that she was the perfect actress for this part. You can see December 27th, 1975 to February 1st, 1988. Now, she was also on Happy Days. I mean, a handful of episodes of Happy Days, and there's a rumor that they say that she, or her spirit, lingers around the soundstage that they filmed Happy Days on. I worked that soundstage. I never heard anybody mention that or tell that tale when I was on there, so that was news to me. But she did quite a bit. I mean, she starred in Poltergeist, and she's the conduit in Poltergeist. She's the person that the entities contact, so she's very integral. And in fact, she's in all 3 movies. Even the stars of the movie, Craig T. Nelson, Jo Beth, didn't come back for the 3rd movie, and yet she did. And what's sad is that, you know, she was a great little girl. One of the reasons they said that everyone loved to work with her is that, for one thing, she was a great expressive actress. She had these, you know, this great look and these expressive eyes, but she could also memorize a script extremely quickly. And she ended up, after Poltergeist, she was on Webster, and she did some commercials for Rainbow Bright, and she was on Our House and various other things, but I think she will always be known as Little Carol Ann from Poltergeist. Heather really deserves a lot of recognition for changing her family's life. They were living in a trailer park in Anaheim, and with her success, they ended up buying a house in Big Bear. Heather was the head of her 5th grade class, and then the family eventually moved down to San Diego, which is where Heather was when she passed away. Heather actually beat out Drew Barrymore for this role. Drew Barrymore was up for the same part, and they went with Heather, and then Drew was signed on to E.T. In 1987, Heather O'Rourke and her family went on a camping trip, and they said that she got a virus or a parasite from the water and got really sick. One day she woke up and her legs and hands were swollen, and so they took her to the hospital and she was treated, and they thought that they had that under control, and then she was still sick. So then the doctors thought she had Crohn's disease, so they were treating her for Crohn's, and they put her on steroids. So when you see Poltergeist 3, you'll see that her cheeks are really swollen. They said that she was really sick during the filming of that, and that's why her cheeks were so puffy. And so they treated her for Crohn's for a while, and then took her off that medication, and she felt better, she thought. And then one day in 1988, January 31st, 1988, she woke up and was really sick, and they called the doctor, and the doctor said that it sounded like the flu, and to basically, if she was still sick in the morning, to call him. And so when the morning came and Heather came downstairs, she said she wasn't feeling well and was short of breath, and then passed out, and was vomiting, and then passed out. So they called the paramedic to come, and when the paramedic came, they took her, and she had cardiac arrest in the ambulance, and then eventually passed away at the hospital. Now, what's really sad is that they said this was congenital, so this was something that she was born with and never knew. What ended up killing her was that she had congenital stenosis of the intestines, which meant that she had a narrow intestine. So she ended up dying of a bowel obstruction. At the age of 12 years old, Heather O'Rourke was unfortunately gone, and now she rests here in a star-studded cemetery, fitting for her, right next to the likes of Mel Torme right here, and Truman Capote and Jackie Collins. Now, an interesting story that I heard was that she was a collector of Cabbage Patch dolls. She loved Cabbage Patch dolls and had a pretty huge collection at her house, and her family kept these. And then in 2015, I read somewhere online that they began selling some of these to fans. And one of the stories was that a fan that bought them said that they were having, once they got one of these dolls, they started having all kinds of bizarre occurrences. They didn't know if it was like a bad luck thing that she didn't want her dolls sold, or what it was, but they did say that they had a string of very odd occurrences once they took possession of one of her Cabbage Patch dolls. Heather O'Rourke not only was in Poltergeist, but she also appeared in Fantasy Island, many episodes of the Happy Days like I mentioned, Chips, Webster, and the new Leave It to Beaver. Even though she only made 3 movies that were released in theaters, she also made a made-for-TV movie, and it was with River Phoenix. I read that on set, Steven Spielberg was extremely courteous of Heather's age, and one of the things that he would do is if he thought that a scene might be too much, it might scare her or it might scar her, he would have a stunt double come in, or in one case where they were kind of showing a child abuse act, he only had her do the scene one time and just kept the cut and didn't make her do it again. Now what's sad is that I found an interview when I was kind of trying to find out more, and it was Heather's sister saying that now there are all these rumors that have been spread that, you know, with all the child abuse scandals and everything, that that Steven Spielberg abused Heather O'Rourke, and she said flat out that that was not true, and that she hates that these rumors are out there, and that she wanted to dispel that any of that would ever have happened. So I'll include it here as well. Heather's famous line in Poltergeist, "They're here," is listed in the 100 most memorable quotes of all time from any movie on the American Film Institute list. Rest in peace. They even put Carol Ann Frayling, Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3. Don't you almost think they should have put "She's Here"? So if this got you thinking about Poltergeist and you'd like to see where that was filmed, we did a filming locations vlog of that as well, that I will put the link right here to, and also at the end of the video. My friend Breck and I went out and we saw the original house that they filmed the exteriors and everything for that movie in. And since it's not too far away, let's just walk down and visit Marilyn while we're here as well. Right next to Hugh Hefner. There they are, there's Marilyn. And then Hugh Hefner. Well, I think it's time for us to head out of here. Pierce Brothers, Westwood Village. So since we're just after Halloween, I want to make a stop on the way back. I want to see if there are any Halloween decorations on the Spadina House. I mean, let's be honest, the whole house is a freaking Halloween house, but see if they did any more. Anything extra. Heck yeah, you gotta remember this house. Yep, they do. Do have some pumpkins and various things out. I love coming by here. It's like an art project. You see the little blackbirds in there in the trees they've put here. And the witch asking you not to pick the berries. Yeah, really cool place. And you can kind of see right here on this door they've got a spider web. Kind of like a back entrance to the property. Yep, just wanted to stop by and take a look. Here's the other side of it. That cool bridge right there that you cross to get in. Alright my friends, we're gonna call it a night. I know this was a sad one today, but even if you don't remember Poltergeist, I think most people remember Heather for just saying "they're here." So rest in peace, Heather, you'll never be forgotten. I want to thank Patricia Ann Calabong for becoming my newest Patreon. And thank you to my friend Presley for letting me use her song for the intro and outro of today's vlog. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.
I feel like I'm sleepless. I've tried and I've tried, but it's all for good reason.